Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are discussing an important topic, that is generative AI controller. We are going to discuss few questions that will make a good foundation, provide you the basic understanding, and important for your interviews. If you want to see live implementation of these topics, you can check out the YouTube channel ServiceNow 911. There I am explaining things using PDI and configuring it in front of you. Okay, so now let's get started with generative AI controller. Question number one is, what is generative AI controller in ServiceNow and why is it such a key piece in AI platforms? Okay, so generative AI controller is basically the connection brain between ServiceNow and external large language model such as OpenAI, Azure OpenAI, Vertex AI, and few others. So instead of every application or flow calling these models directly with a custom code, the controller acts as a standard layer where ServiceNow configures how to talk to those LLMs, which model to use, and how to pass data in and out. So ServiceNow have generalized it. Okay, you need not to go to every other configurations, every other things, but you have to configure one at a time and provide a generalized things. So we can say that when you see ServiceNow generating text, summaries, question answers, or sentiments, it is the generative AI controller that is handling the connection to that model. This matters a lot because it gives you one place to manage LLM integrations that include everything such as credentials, provider, model version, guardrails. Okay, so instead of having dozens of separate REST calls all over the system, all over the platform, you have this single thing which is generative AI controller. I hope it is clear to you now. Now, second question, what type of generative AI use cases does generative AI controller support out of the box? Yes, we must know what out-of-box functionality it is providing. Okay, so ServiceNow does not just say like you can call an LLM. It defines a clear generative AI use case types in the controller, and few important and the most used one are generating content, that is for creating text like email replies, case notes, or draft. Okay, that the agent can redefine and use. Second is Q&A. Okay, so for question answer scenarios where the user asks something and the model respond based on the provided text or context. Third is summarization. Okay, so it is used to compress long tickets, long chat transcripts, or documents into a short readable summaries. It is one of the most important one. Then for generating prompts, so it is a kind of flexible mode where you send any prompt to the model for brainstorming or custom flows, and then you use it in that particular flow. Okay, and last one is sentiment analysis. It is where the model classify the input as positive, neutral, or negative sentiments. So these are the few use cases that are exposed into Flow Designer, Virtual Agent Designer, scripts. Okay, so you can drop generative AI into workflows in a structured way rather than inventing everything from scratch. Next question is, why would you use generative AI controller instead of just calling an LLM with a simple REST API? Good question, because on paper you could say that I will just call OpenAI with the REST app, right? With the REST app. But when you go real in the real enterprise environment, that quickly becomes messy and very risky. However, generative AI controller gives you a central supported integration with LLM providers. Okay, it ships with the integration of scopes, handle proper authentication, and know which endpoint to call for which use cases. So this is the first advantage. Second is it also provides a consistent way to define prompt, input, and output so that your flows, virtual agent, and script all follow the same pattern. And having a same pattern is definitely a professional thing to do. Okay. And next one is, on top of that, it integrates with Now Assist and Guardian, meaning you get a built-in guardrails and logging rather than building your own monitoring for every REST API. Okay. So these are the few advantages. So as a simple answer, you can say the control turns one-off API hack into a proper platform feature with support, guardrail, and a clear model for how generative AI is used across the instance. Okay, so these are the few advantages of using generative AI controller over a REST call every time. Question number 4. What do you need in place before you can call or use generative AI controller in a customer instance? This is important because you must know the prerequisite. Okay, very practical question. So to use generative AI controller, you need a few things already lined up. Number 1, you need right entitlements such as Pro Plus or enterprise level SKUs and a Now Assist entitlement. The controller is not standalone free plugin. Keep this in mind. Okay. It comes bundled with Now Assist for specific products. Okay. Second thing is you need a license and API key for external LLM providers you want to connect to, whether it is OpenAI, Azure AI, or anything. Okay. So you need license and API key information. Third one is your ServiceNow instance must be on the right family and patch level that is supporting, generative AI controller or all this LLM stuff. Mostly it is starting from Vancouver. So make sure you have the right version. So once these three in place, you can configure the controller in the platform and all the Now Assist feature and generative AI features or use cases are available to you and you can start using in the connections. Next question is, how does generative AI controller fits into ServiceNow responsible AI story? So as we already discussed, it is introducing guardrails and various other things. So that's why it is a responsible AI. Okay. So let me go in details. ServiceNow doesn't just expose generative AI. It builds a responsible AI stack around it. You know it, right? And the generative AI controller is the core part of that. If we talk about Guardians, so Now Assist Guardian is a platform component that shipped with the generative AI controller. Okay. It provides guardrail like prompt filtering, content check. There is one more feature which is known as bring your own guardrail. Okay. BYOG. So with this feature, organizations can connect their own external safety services into current ServiceNow Guardian. So they can enforce custom rules on the content produced by the generative AI for their company or organization. So because all generative AI traffic for Now Assist flows through the controller, Guardian, and AI Control Tower can monitor and control which model are used, how they are called, and what kind of response is coming back. Okay, all verification is done here. So we can say it is a kind of well-maintained AI responsibility. Hence, we can say the controller is not just a pipe to LLMs. Okay, it is a kind of controlled pipeline where guardrails, logging, and governance plug in so enterprise can use generative AI in a responsible way. Okay, so I hope you got it. Share these questions with your friends and colleagues and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much.